And one of the biggest issues for veterans coming out of service is trying to find a job they can apply their skill set to. Many veterans spend years in the service doing something like driving a tank or working with ammunition.
And sometimes those skills translate well into the civilian world, and sometimes it's a little trickier. Well, Queen City News anchor Annie Satowski tonight shows us how one local organization is helping veterans find a new purpose after service.
It's an adjustment. I can testify to that firsthand.
Dale Durand, a recent retiree from a 30-year career in the Marine Corps, has moved from information technology at the Pentagon to a much different environment.
I now work full-time with the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association.
Durand was able to take his IT training from the military and apply it to a career outside the service. But that's not always the case.
They don't have any college, they don't have certifications or anything like that other than military certification related to combat. As an employer or HR person looks at their resume, you're like, well, you've done a whole bunch of cool stuff, but you're equivalent to a high school graduate.
Aaron Harper, a retired fifth-generation Marine himself, has accepted a new mission to help connect veterans with employment, housing, healthcare, and community through Veterans Bridge Home right here in Charlotte.
We don't actually have any homes, but we do have folks that can connect to them. So it's the right resource, right veteran, right connection, right time.
Harper says the key to a successful transition is finding direction.
You meet that vet, and you're like, I can do anything. There's a super gung-ho attitude. It's like, I agree with you, you probably can. Well, let's narrow that down. What do you really enjoy? And then what also are you qualified to do?
While Durand is stuck with the IT field, he leaned on VBH when it was time to jump back into work and get plugged into a community, which he says can also be a struggle.
You know, it goes down to ultimately having the courage as a veteran to step out under the new label and lifestyle living to accept the assistance.
It's adjusting to even the small things, like having to pick your own work wardrobe for the first time in 30 years.
For me, that was an anxious moment, right? To have to figure out, like, I have to choose. First of all, I get to choose, but get to choose very rapidly translates into have to choose when you're deciding, like, well, there's 5 days in a work week. How's this supposed to work?
While Durand says the vet community has been embraced here in Charlotte, he encourages all companies to look beyond words on a resume and consider bringing them on board.
I think it's without exception that veterans of any scale or time of service, there are just some intrinsic intangibles that they bring to an organization.
Annie Satowski, Queen City News.